I had this wild dream that I was Joshua Bassett from High School Musical, the musical to series, and I was roller skating with Olivia Rodrigo. It was really weird, but that was my dream. Hello, Piedmont Hills High School. This is Polly's podcast, the Legends weekly quarantine podcast, here to give the Piedmont Hills community new perspectives during this time. My name is Victor.
And I'm Joanne, and today we're going to explore the perspective of the class of 2021's new cabinet.
They both just won their elections and are looking forward to serving the upcoming seniors as both president and vice president.
So please introduce yourselves.
Hi, my name is Justine Delos Santos, and I'm class of 2021's president.
Hey, hi, my name is Britney, and I'm class of 2021's vice president for the upcoming school year.
Okay. So the first question we have for you guys is, how is quarantine going for the both of you?
Personally, for me, I think it's been a decent time. I think because of quarantine, the overwhelmingness from junior year kind of lessened. But at the same time, I feel really unprepared for my AP tests.
Yeah, I've kept myself preoccupied doing a lot of different things like baking, watching movies with my sister, and also just a lot of schoolwork.
Okay. First of all, congrats on winning your elections. Did you expect to win your elections? And what was your reaction to winning?
Personally, no, I did not expect to win my election because I think just having that mindset straight away could be disappointing, obviously, if you didn't win. And I think I definitely did not undermine my competition because he's a very, he's an extremely well-known student in our class, and he's very passionate with the things he does. And I know he also would have been a very good candidate for our class. So, I kept that in mind while campaigning.
For me, I really had no idea that I would win because the person I went against, I could tell that she was a very hardworking person, and I knew that she would get things done. I even texted Justine after the ballots were closed. I was like, I don't think I won, but I know you're gonna make next year a really good year.
Okay. So when you guys were underclassmen, did you think you would be here as future senior class president?
Oh, definitely not. This is very unexpected, to be honest. But I think being here now, the experiences that brought me here today definitely made my high school experience extremely memorable. And I've learned a lot of lessons throughout the journey.
So what was it like to run a campaign during quarantine, and did anything change for you guys?
I think one thing that we can all say for sure, especially if you were scrolling through social media pages, is that everyone was kind of spamming their stories with campaign posters and flyers and this and that. But I think even though people were kind of being overwhelmed with all of these people's campaigns, the way people executed it was definitely creative, because I would see TikToks or video collages, and I think that was a smart way to engage with our school, even though we weren't able to do any physical things like posters and stickers as we traditionally would.
Then Brittany, what was the hardest part about campaigning from home?
I think the hardest part was mainly reaching out to a lot of people, asking them to help support my campaign, and also posting, because normally when you're at school, it's you go to a different class period and there's always different people that you can ask, but at home it's kind of you have less of that outreach.
All right. So since junior year is pretty much already over for both of you, what are you guys looking forward to in senior year, especially seeing what we as the current seniors have gone through?
I think right now everything's really ambiguous, to be honest, because of how uncertain next year is actually gonna play out. Considering how school might not even start off as it normally would in previous years. The events that we have planned for next year, we're still looking forward to them, but we're not really sure how they'd be affected due to this quarantine and coronavirus.
Okay, Brittany, like, what are you looking forward to most?
I'm looking forward to probably like graduation because in a way it's kind of like the end of like 12 years of going to school, and that's just really crazy.
Justine, since this is your third term as 2021 president, you're pretty much continuing your work. So how are junior prom tickets going to be reimbursed?
If anyone has been aware, Ms. Davis actually sent out in her pirate notes that reimbursements would be sent out via mail, so to their house address. And I've actually had some people contact me about the fact that they haven't received it yet. And it's good we're talking about this because I know people may be concerned about how slow the process is taking, but I want to ensure that the bank and like the office are working hard to make sure that everyone gets their full refunds, and they shouldn't worry about it. But if they do, if they're like getting more concerned with how long it's taking, they can feel free to message me or Brittany or Miss Davis actually, and we'd like to address like anything else further that way.
Okay, and on the topic of junior prom, since junior prom funds a lot of like senior prom stuff, what's the plan for funding senior prom now that junior prom has been canceled?
That's actually a very overwhelming topic for us because we actually garnered a lot of profit from our junior prom. And because that's kind of taken away, we're currently in the process of thinking of other ways to like implement fundraisers throughout the year. But everything's kind of like up in the air because one of our solutions was to have a summer prom, but I feel like that's not really an option at this point. So we're trying to look for help from the administration to hopefully recuperate for our loss of funds. But if not, we're still trying our best to ensure that we'll have a senior prom and picnic and everything that goes on in senior year.
Okay, cool.
Considering junior prom plays a big part in funding, sorry about that. Have any other future events for next year, have they been affected by this quarantine?
We're not really sure, but considering how homecoming is really early in the school year and all of like that, you know, and painting mostly goes on in the summer, and knowing that the quarantine might not be over by then, it's definitely going to impact how we're going to like ensure that there will be murals next year, especially for the halls, and if there will actually be a homecoming dance. And this is also concerning because we're not even sure if there's going to be fall sports next year. So.
And Brittany, are you looking forward to going through with like Fantastics and stuff next year because it didn't happen this year?
Yeah, I'm kind of excited because I haven't really been an officer for like Fantastics yet, so it'll be a little bit new but kind of exciting because I don't know what's going to happen essentially.
Okay. And so what's like the biggest goal for class 2021 right now for next year? Is it like winning Fantastics, or is it like just giving everyone a good senior year?
Really, I think it's just to like, yeah, give everyone a good senior year. And it's interesting how you mentioned this because I thought about that too. I was like, how can I make my class more involved and more spirited and stuff? And throughout the years, like, if I'm being honest, I would really look up to how 2020 was like as a class because you guys were extremely spirited in like skit especially. And that was really inspiring to like watch. And I was like, how can I make my class more like that? How can I get more involvement? But then I thought about it as like a whole and realized that school spirit doesn't necessarily, it's not limited to leadership related events. And I started to recognize that my classmates were very passionate in different aspects of school, like sports, drama department, arts department, and like club events. And I think just knowing that people are spending their time pursuing these different things that showcase their skills, like that's like school spirit as it is. And for the people who are involved with class related events, like I think we're definitely grateful for that. And one way to actually increase involvement, if we really can, is Britney, would you like to announce the male pageant thing? I don't want to talk too much.
Oh, so we're hoping that generally with male pageant, the hosts were always like the class officers and such, but we're hoping that maybe we can open it up more to our class and allow them to have a chance at being like MCs for the performances and whatnot.
That's interesting. I like that idea. So do you guys think that returning to school, physical school, will be happy or difficult?
I think it would be both, because we've been pretty much deprived from actual school. And I know I see like Twitter posts or TikToks and it's like school's gonna hit different when we return. But I think adjusting to the changes are definitely going to be difficult regardless of how happy we might be to return.
So since your junior year was cut short, did you guys come into like realization about anything or like learn how to be more grateful about anything, since you guys are missing out on a lot of things as well?
I've definitely learned to be more grateful to like the class above us and stuff, like the seniors, because I never realized how much I would miss them, considering that they're not going to be here next year, and that our last day with them essentially was like nobody was there. So it kind of sucked a little bit, but yeah.
Justine, do you have anything to add on?
I think in regards to junior year, because it's like a year that's really crucial towards like college applications, I think knowing that things are really uncertain, like nobody expected that this would happen to us, and recognizing that, you know, most of life is really unpredictable. I think it's just to like be able to live in the moment more and like really just pursue things that matter to you and not just for like college, because I think now colleges are looking for like who you really are, especially with like the test scores, SATs and all of that getting like ruined because of this. Yeah, just live in the moment and be yourself.
Okay. So at this point, we're going to take a small break.
Hello, you are listening to the Pirates Quick Report. I'm your host, Jose Flores Jimenez, and I will be catching you up on things that have happened over the past week. As of April 25th, 2020, there have been 2.8 million worldwide cases of COVID-19 and more than 200,000 confirmed deaths. In Santa Clara County, there are 1,870 confirmed cases and 73 confirmed deaths. The U.S. government has started giving out stimulus checks to the American public. Qualified adults can receive up to $1,200. The CSU system has eliminated its standardized testing requirements for admission to the fall of 2021 semester. On April 25th, hundreds of people gathered in Huntington Beach, California for a protest to end social distancing. Many counties in California have begun to require face masks for those that venture out of the house for essential needs. These include the San Francisco, Contra Costa, Alameda, San Mateo, and Marin counties. Finally, North Korean leader Kim Jong-un underwent heart surgery in early April. There have been no confirmed reports on his current status, but he has not made a public appearance since April 11th, 2020. And that's all for this week. Now, for the rest of Polly's podcast.
Okay, and we're back. In the second part of the podcast, we wanted to get to know you guys from more than just being officers from ASB.
So first and foremost, if everything went back to normal tomorrow, what's the first thing you guys would like to do?
I would definitely want to see my friends and my cousins and just give them like a hug, because I feel like I haven't really had social contact in a long time.
Yeah, just definitely like hanging out with my friends and doing something that we all enjoy.
Okay, and so a lot of people have been talking about having really weird dreams during quarantine. So I want you guys to remember like the craziest dream you guys have had so far. Okay, I'll go first. I had this wild dream that I was Joshua Bassett from High School Musical, the musical to series, and I was roller skating with Olivia Rodrigo. It was really weird, but that was my dream.
I'm having trouble thinking. Joanne, do you have a dream?
I don't really dream. Let me think. The most current dream I have is probably like, I don't know. I dream a lot about flying, if that counts.
Okay, if I'm being honest, I did have crazy dreams, but they're kind of like sad, and I don't.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Brittany, how about you?
I think one of the weirdest dreams I've had, and it's pretty weird because it's also like a reoccurring dream. It's kind of like I'm stuck in this house. I'm like, and I have to find a way to leave, but like there are like a bunch of monsters that are chasing me, and then there's like it's like an escape room, and there's like a bunch of riddles I have to solve to leave. I don't know.
Maybe
Okay.
something in your real life.
Maybe.
Okay.
So have you guys found any new interests or hobbies since you guys have like all the time in the world now?
Kind of been doing like the same thing, just reading. I would hate to admit, but like sometimes I do journal, and I think it's kind of interesting to read sometimes and reflect. But yeah, those are some of my things. And baking. I mean, who isn't baking right now too? So
I made snickerdoodles yesterday. How about you, Britney?
Recently I kind of started playing the ukulele again and learning more songs. And I've also started like learning how to embroider different things.
Okay. What's the craziest thing you guys have done during quarantine? Does anyone cut their bangs?
oh
Sure.
I don't know. I have a pretty boring life now that you asked me that.
How about like any new movies or TV shows you guys are binging maybe?
You know, I watched All American, and like I guess I could see the hype, but I don't know if it's just me, but it's kind of corny sometimes. Like it's really corny if you've seen it. But
Yeah. What about you, Brittany?
Recently I finished watching Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Yes.
Leave alert.
So good.
Yeah, it's the greatest animated TV show of all time. No contest. Okay. And how are you guys, or have you guys managed to stay in touch with like family and friends? Like, are you guys FaceTiming a lot or Zooming?
yeah, sure. My family, like, it's interesting to see them like FaceTime their like siblings, because I don't know, I didn't even know they knew how to do that. So, yeah.
Cool. So what are you guys planning to do during the summer if quarantine continues? Like, if it continues throughout summer, what are your plans?
Definitely establish some sort of routine for how we're going to get things done with homecoming, because I know that's something that we can't just cancel because we can't paint. I think there'll be a way for us to get around that without having to like paint at each other's houses. And like besides that, if we're still in quarantine and we can't vacation, probably be doing the same things as we are now and pursuing hobbies that we have going on and binge watching TV shows.
Are you guys like having like Zoom meetings a lot to like discuss maybe like class related things?
We had one like earlier today actually to discuss about like just like everything that's going to happen later on in the year, especially with like DP and pub applications.
And since you guys are juniors, are you guys stressing out about college apps or anything like that?
Definitely.
Start early.
Do you guys have any tips for us in regards to that process?
UCLA student Victor, go.
Start
Good
early.
job.
Start early, and don't be afraid to ask upperclassmen for help, or like current college people for help, because that really helped me. And then don't be afraid to ask teachers, because they give help for free, and you don't have to ask, like, you don't have to pay money to ask your friends to read your essays and stuff.
You're fast early too.
Okay. So now we'll go on our second break.
Welcome to Performance with Petey, the segment of the show where students share and listen. I'm your host, Jose Flores Jimenez, and I will be reading a few written pieces submitted by students. Now, our first piece of the week is a particularly powerful poem that I am happy to share with you today. It was submitted by freshman student Nicole Shen, and it is titled, Hands, Wrists, Teeth. Masked people file in, like a line of little lions, and a strange part of me giggles. You have it, they say, arms outstretched, hands open. We'd all guessed, suspected it anyways. I'm moved to a hospital, and now I'm among the rest, a victim of this pandemic, this monster. She takes my wrist gently, checks my pulse. It's displayed on the monitor, but the feel of fingers through gloves and layers of anxiety on my wrist wakes me up. I try not to breathe. She lets go, steps away. Strong exhale. Cough. I'm fine. I'm sorry. The monster bares its teeth at me, tries to eat me up, swallow me down, but I refuse. People in white by my side, we shoot down those sharp, white gems with burning arrows, flames. I climb out, grimy and grateful and alive. Thank you, I breathe, as the people in white prepare to fight again. End poem. Next and finally, I am going to read a satirical short poem about consumerism, which I had written before the pandemic. Again, my name is Jose Flores Jimenez, and this piece is titled simply, Pigs. One little piggy fell in love with another little piggy as a teen, until 2 became 3, 3 became 7, and 7 became 13. When all the little piggies wanted more, then more little piggies wanted love. But with love in high demand at every household stand, 100 other piggies starved. End poem. That's all for this week from Performance with Petey. But before you go, I'd like to give a quick thank you to all of those that have already contributed to this segment. It means a lot. If you have found yourself inspired, I highly encourage you contribute. Our goal with this segment is to provide students with an avenue to both express themselves and listen to each other. For more information, please check School Loop News. Now, for the rest of Polly's podcast.
And we're back again. So this quarantine has obviously given everybody some perspective and time to think. So what is the greatest silver lining you've experienced as a result of this pandemic?
I think just like being grateful for like what we have and like our own circumstances, because I know there's people out there with like situations that are much like harder than our own. But that isn't to say that we should like undermine our own hardships because we're all kind of going through some things. And I think like recognizing the works of like healthcare workers as well, because I have some family members who are who are healthcare workers, and yeah, it's just being grateful for the work they do and like just the whole community being there for one another and just following these like regulations so that we can come back to normal and stuff.
How about you, Brittany? Silver lining.
I don't know. I just kind of learned to be like learn more about myself and kind of appreciate myself more, like boosting my self-confidence a bit. Yeah.
Okay. And do you guys have any last minute comments you'd like to say to like class of 2021 or just like the student body in general?
I think leadership, one thing that I'd like to see for changes next year is to have like more open communication with the rest of the school, because I think oftentimes some people don't really know what we do, and that can be kind of troubling because it's like, you know, what's the point of leadership? But yeah, just having bringing more awareness towards the school and like what we do as class officers, leadership in general.
What about you, Brittany?
I just kind of hope everyone stays happy, stay healthy, stay safe, stay inside so that this ends quickly and that we can go on with our daily lives and actually go out and do stuff, fun stuff with friends and family.
Okay, then. Thank you for joining us and giving our community a better perspective on this topic. We really appreciate it. And yeah, that marks the end of the podcast.
Our third episode was supposed to be counselors, but they were really busy.
Wagon.
Yeah, that didn't happen, but it's okay. It's okay. So yeah, thank you for doing this.
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity. This was
Interesting. Yeah, it's still kind of new. I don't know. We're still working it out.
fun.
And it's like, it's not the same as doing it in real life. So, yeah, we'll figure it out though.